tonight, a new ruling now helping to shield abortion clinics from dozens of whistleblower lawsuits. The Associated Press reporting a district judge in Austin issued a temporary restraining order after a request from Planned Parenthood.
This new abortion law is one of the most restrictive in the United States. The Texas law limits abortions within the first 6 weeks of pregnancy. The law does not offer exceptions for victims of rape or incest. The law also allowed citizens to file lawsuits against those who helped or conducted the procedure. The Associated Press saying today's ruling bars lawsuits from the nonprofit group Texas Right to Life, its legislative director, and 100 unidentified individuals. But it's not clear if anyone else could file a lawsuit. Meanwhile, Raices, a nonprofit centered around migrant families, says they are working around the law by offering women a way to get an abortion outside of Texas. The Texas Right to Life group reacted to the ruling, saying they, quote, expect an impartial court will dismiss Planned Parenthood's lawsuit, end quote.
A shooting at our reporter and photojournalist leading to a standoff with police and then one man's death. San Antonio police releasing some edited body camera footage from that day in July. This was the scene on Noria Street near Navidad. 28-year-old Eduardo Amezquita identified as a first shooting towards our crews. They were thankfully able to dodge the bullets. Police say Amezquita then ran into another home and beat the people inside before barricading himself inside. After negotiations with police, officers went inside the home. Officers saying that video was blurred due to state law. Police say 2 officers inside the home fired along with 3 other officers outside the home, killing Amezquita. Officers outside say they saw a gun. One other angle from an officer adjacent to the home was released, but it's unclear if any other footage from officers who confronted Amezquita outside that home will be released.
A sniffle, cough, even a headache, a small illness can become a major concern for parents, especially during this pandemic. Pediatric doctor visits have nearly doubled in the last few weeks.
And booking a same-day appointment with your kid's pediatricians or an urgent care clinic nearly impossible. Take a look. This was one of the signs outside Little Spurs Pediatric Urgent Care, warning parents of the limited availability. Doctors say it's not just COVID concerns leading to the rush.
We're not seeing sick children. We're just seeing a lot of children.
Pediatricians say COVID concerns followed by the kids returning to the classroom, picking up familiar illnesses, have them flooded with calls and visits.
And there was more illness to start going back into school, and now everybody's sharing it.
Patient visits have doubled for Dr. John Fitch at Heritage Pediatrics. He's working extra hours. Same goes for Little Spurs Pediatrics Urgent Care, where they've had to turn away patients for the first time in their history.
A couple weeks ago, we were just not able to meet the demand of patients, such that we were having, hour, 2-hour waits, and our providers were just unable to physically get through a day.
The majority of visits have to do with COVID concerns and documentation required by school districts.
We're seeing a lot of kids that actually don't have COVID, but they're being screened to make sure that they do, or to see if they do or they don't have COVID.
The majority of cases, doctors say, are just kids sick with a common cold or injuries. Suggestions from doctors: keep your sick kids hydrated, and if the usual pain reliever and fever-reducing medicine isn't working and you have concerns, call the pediatrician's office. Most have on-call doctors. You can better your chances of getting an appointment at a pediatric urgent care by booking early in the morning.
It's going to be challenging, I believe, at least through the fall. And I imagine this year we'll have a flu season, so that's probably going to add to our some of our challenges we'll have.
And they say reminding children to wear masks and hand washing are good ways to keep them healthy. Telemedicine is available at some pediatric clinics, and some doctors are doing visits in their parking lots in order to prevent the spread. Doctors urge parents and kids over 12 years old to get the COVID-19 vaccine and the flu shot.
The pandemic leading to 5 more deaths here in Bexar County. That now includes Bexar County Deputy Ronald Butler. The 56-year-old battling COVID-19 since late July was in the hospital. He was pronounced dead this afternoon. Tonight, 1,218 COVID-19 patients are hospitalized. That's a slight decrease from yesterday. There was also a decrease in our 7-day average, but we continue to see 1,100 COVID-19 cases each day. Health officials reminding you to keep safety precautions in mind during the upcoming Labor Day holiday weekend. A Floresville man grateful to be alive after dismissing the safety precautions amid this pandemic. 29-year-old Luis Garcia confronted death and hopes that experience will help others. Garcia admits he thought he didn't need the vaccine. He didn't think much about wearing a mask. Well, after catching COVID, what started as a fever got so bad, he had to be placed on an ECMO machine to help his heart and lungs.
So I thought I'd probably be asymptomatic or minor symptoms. And next thing I know, when I got it, I was nearly on my deathbed. Do get the vaccine, do your social distancing, and do wear a mask.
There are a list of pop-up vaccine clinics around town on KSAT.com. Tomorrow, the first clinic will happen at the Edgewood ISD Theater on Lance Street, starting from 9 in the morning to 11 a.m.
San Antonio taking a moment to honor the memory of 5-year-old Dominic Patrick Aguilar Acevedo. San Antonio police believe his body was found all the way in Colorado. His mother, 25-year-old Nicole Aguilar, and her boyfriend, 26-year-old Daniel Garcia, are charged in the case. Today, the nonprofit KJ's Angels organized a vigil to honor Aguilar Acevedo's life and highlight the issue of child abuse. The nonprofit urging people who witness child abuse to report it to police. The ceremony was also live streamed for family members in Florida. And records show police believe the 5-year-old died at a hotel in northeast San Antonio around July 25th. Aguilar told police she witnessed the child suffer extensive physical abuse by Garcia for several weeks.
Missing weapons leading to a Poteet police officer being pulled from the force. Isaac Segura accused in this case. The Poteet Police Department says officers noticed 2 weapons were missing from the department's property room back on August 19th. The Texas Rangers called in to help with an internal investigation. Nearly a week later, Segura put in handcuffs and taken to jail. Both weapons recovered, termination paperwork processed for Segura. The Texas Rangers saying that investigation remains active and ongoing.
2 sisters sent to the hospital after simply walking to school. Police say a woman in an SUV ended up driving onto a sidewalk, pinning the sisters under the car. It happened on Dugas Drive near South Ellison Drive and Petranco Road. Both girls were taken to the hospital in critical condition. The woman who was driving arrested for DWI.
He was pretty hard to miss amid the Capitol chaos in January. Jacob Chansley, who wore that furry hat with horns, pleading guilty to a felony charge. He's now asking a judge to be released from jail while he awaits sentencing. Chansley's been in jail for nearly 8 months since his arrest. He quit eating twice during that time, demanding jail authorities give him organic food. Prosecutors estimate he could face 41 to 51 months in jail. Sentencing is scheduled for November 17th. It's still ahead. It's Friday night. That means fans in the stands and action on the gridiron. Your big game coverage here at home and our road trip that starts in Seguin. All that plus your fan cam coming up in sports.
And the president tours the damage Hurricane Ida left behind in Louisiana. What he's saying about the fuel and power problems, plus new satellite images showing the extent of those outages, next on the Nightbeat.
All right, we've told you about the major power problems in Louisiana after Hurricane Ida ripped through that state. NASA releasing this satellite image to show the power grid before the storm in the greater New Orleans area. The image of the bright lights taken on August 9th. 20 days later, Hurricane Ida hit, and this is what was left behind. This image also from NASA shows the impact of the blackouts. Much of the power in New Orleans actually expected to be restored by Wednesday. Could take longer for some of the other areas.
And those power outages amplifying frustration in the sweltering heat. President Joe Biden visiting Louisiana today, talking about the dangerous work thousands of linemen are doing to try and get the power back on. 2 of those men lost their lives in the process. The president also acknowledging the low supply in gas, saying more fuel is coming.
We're in this together, and I promise we're going to have your backs till this gets done.
Tomorrow, officials in New Orleans plan to provide transportation for people trying to leave the area and get to public shelters.
And for much of the day, KSAT viewers called in to help our neighbors in Louisiana and up the Northeast coast. We wanted to give you an update on those donations. More than $10,000 collected to help the Red Cross get food and supplies to many communities in Louisiana that desperately need it. Thank you for taking the time to call in. If you'd like to help in other ways, the San Antonio Food Bank still looking for volunteers for its efforts. We have a link to sign up on KSAT.com. Love our viewers. $10,000 in just a short amount of time today. And of course, as we know, any amount helps.
They are always so willing to give.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The Tobin Center tonight. Look at that.
It's lit up. Beautiful. It's getting hot out there.
It's hot, and it's going to stay hot through the weekend. Right near 100 degrees, and I'm sure that doesn't come as a surprise to many folks, considering what our temperatures have been the past couple of days. So near 100 this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, sunny and dry. Some rain chances back into the picture as we get into Monday. Let's get right to it. Today, 98, the high temperature. That's 5 degrees above average. The record high for the day, 104, set back in 2000. Notice our morning low, 77. That's 4 degrees above average. Now, taking a look at other readings across our area, Cotulla, 103. That was the hot spot. Laredo, 102. Del Rio, 101. New Braunfels made it to 96. Rock Springs topped out at 91. Not nearly as hot there in Edwards County. Currently, we're at 84 degrees. So it's warm outside, but this isn't all that unusual for this time of year. Dew point is 72, so very sticky and making it feel like it's 6 degrees warmer than the actual air temperature. Bandera, you're 82, along with Bulverde. Converse 81, Divine 84, and right now Rio Medina and Helotes at 83 degrees. So similar readings until you get to the typically warmer spots west and southwest of town. Carrizo Springs, Cotulla still at 90, and Del Rio now at 94. So we'll be awfully close to 100, if not hitting it this weekend. I've got us at 99 Saturday and Sunday, 98 on Labor Day, and then a little dip to 95, but running above average through the entire weekend and on through next week as well. Okay, let's take a look at our satellite and radar. We had some nice showers far east of San Antonio earlier today, especially closer to the Gulf coastline. Victoria County in particular, even DeWitt, Gonzales, and Lavaca counties getting clipped by some of those showers. And then one little downpour popped up in Bulverde near Smithson Valley even earlier today, this afternoon. That was very brief. No lightning or thunder with it. Otherwise, fairly quiet. Let's get a quick update on the tropics here. Hurricane Larry, very well-defined eye now with that system. Strengthening continually through the weekend. Already a major Category 3 hurricane, likely to be a Cat 4 by middle of next week as it gets a little bit closer to Bermuda. So definitely concerned for Bermuda, and something we'll keep an eye on and update accordingly. And then this little cluster of showers and storms likely to cross the Yucatan, emerge into the Gulf of Mexico over the next few days, and that could turn into another tropical system. Right now, it's pretty low-end chances of that. Otherwise, around here, quiet, nothing to worry about this weekend other than finding shade or a nice pool to jump into. A little bit of SPF as well. 90, upper 90s near 100. A few isolated showers possible Monday afternoon and evening. I think especially in the hill country, but a 20% chance elsewhere, then up to about 30 to 40% on Tuesday.
If you were a betting man, do you think we'll hit 100 this year?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah, he's already made bets.
I've already made bets. Yeah, I've got a few weather
So you
bets
are a
going.
betting
Weather wagers. That's what I call it. All right. So there are some teams who found out a lot about themselves tonight, Greg.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, in the big game today between Reagan and Steele, it was a lot lower scoring than I thought. These two teams both played great defense. They both ran the ball. So when we come back, we'll show you what the result was. And we're on the road with Judson as they take on Lake Travis coming up.
We're the Steel Knight cheerleaders, and you're watching Big Game coverage on KSAT 12.
The big game and a big game coverage tonight has the third-ranked Steel Knights hosting the fourth-ranked Reagan Rattlers in a rematch from last season. The Rattlers won 21-20. Reagan up 6-0 on a pair of field goals in the second quarter, but the Knights are on the Rattlers' 15-yard line. Connor Vincent drops back to pass, but starts to feel the heat, breaks the pocket, scampers to the end zone, take a 7-6 lead at halftime. Steel starting to pull away now. Vincent airing it out to Deshaun Singleton on the slant, and then he puts Steel up 14-6 in the process in the third quarter. The final from Linoff, that is it, 14-6.
I think it builds a little bit more of our confidence. Obviously, there's things we got to fix, but as long as we go in there playing as a team, I think every win could be big.
It was really important because we lost to them last year, and we needed to come back with a bang, and we did that.
All right, after knocking off DeSoto last week at home, the Judson Rockets decided to give themselves a little road test today against the 7th-ranked team in the state, Lake Travis and Austin. Judson down 7-0 in the first, and the Rockets boosters start to fire. Michael Burrows to Marvin Beasley out of the backfield. He gets to the right sideline, turns it upfield, and he has room to run. He's gone 64 yards for the swing pass. It ties the game to 7-all. But the Rockets would play from behind after that. Let's see if that has gone final up in Austin. 52-20, it is final. Kickoff of the Smithson Valley home opener delayed 45 minutes due to lightning, they said. But when they did start, it didn't take the Rangers long to score against Madison. Derek Mata drops back, takes his time, fires downfield to Zach McDonald, makes a great catch at the goal line for the 34-yard TD. 7-0 Rangers, and that is the final 28-0 now over Madison. The Roosevelt Rough Riders on the road tonight at East Central. They're out firing against the Hornets here. Tyran Miller standing tall, firing deep to Darius Coleman, who makes a great grab over the defense to the 24-yard gain. Roosevelt in the red zone now. Miller is feeling it. He goes to Devon Tennyson Shepard in the front corner. A fantastic catch for the 18-yard touchdown. 7-0 Roosevelt. Let's head to the big game coverage scoreboard for that final and more. You see East Central with a win comes back to do it, 32-20. Shutout for Smithson Valley over Madison, 28-0. Elsewhere, Steele edges out Reagan, and Lake Travis over Judson. Champion Chargers paying a little visit to MacArthur Bramus tonight at Hero Stadium. Champion up 42-0 in the fourth when we arrived. The Chargers Colin Ryan taking the handoff, fighting his way down to the Bramus 13-yard line. Next play, Jordan Balling going up top to Griffin Jones, who gets both feet down in the back of the end zone to make it 49-0. Final 56-0 champion. Here come the Chargers at Comalander Stadium. Churchill taking on Alamo Heights first quarter. Mule strike first. James Sobey lofts it up for Rhett Anderson. He brings it down in the end zone with a 14-yard touchdown. 7-0 lead. They go on to win it 21-13. Let's head over to Ferrer Stadium. The Eagle Pass came out to face against Marshall. First quarter, the Rams are on the move. Quarterback Jack Kaliski is going to tuck it and run. He's off to the races. No one's going to catch him. He goes 63 yards untouched for the score, 7-0. Let's see if that's the final from Ferris. Look at that. Holds on for the win. Marshall 27-26. Mustangs of Jay welcoming the Medina Valley Panthers tonight at Gustafson Stadium. Second quarter, Jay up by a touchdown. Looking to add to it, Xadrian Huerta takes the handout, gets to the outside, bounces off a would-be tackler, strides in for the score, 14-0 Jay. But Medina Valley doesn't roll over. Nick Rash on the play-action pass finds Kenneth Arroyos, who makes a leaping grab for the score. A one-possession game. When we leave, let's head back to the big game coverage scoreboard for that final and more as well. John Jay with a win over Medina Valley. You see Marshall edging out Eagle Pass 27-26. Elsewhere, MacArthur falls to Bernie Champion 56-0. Alamo Heights over Churchill. Strike up the band. The Brackenridge Eagles taking on Lee at the rock pile. First quarter, Lee on the Brack 44. Isaiah Carrillo dumps it off to Oscar Castro Gonzalez on the flat. He shakes off one defender. He rumbles down the sideline on the way to the 19 for a 20 yards gain. A few plays later, Carrillo on the option decides to keep it and scores from 9 yards out. 7-0 lead, and that is the final. Brackenridge comes back to win at 35-27. The Edison cheerleaders keeping the fighting spirit alive, but the Harlandale Indians were already up 22-0 when we arrived. They have Edison punting from the back of their end zone, and a whole gang of Indians here rush in to block the punt out of the back of the end zone. That's a safety. Help Harlandale with a 24-0 lead, and the final 31-0 Harlandale. McCollum Cowboys mascot, pretty popular, taking a selfie with the real officer of the law. Navarro jumps offside, so McCollum gets a free play. Running back Isaiah Leffler breaks through the line, picks up 18 yards for taking it down. Leffler gets the ball again, and this time he is bouncing to the outside, gets across the goal line before he's down. Cowboys riding all over Navarro, 42-19 in the second quarter when we left, 65-13 the final for the Cowboys. Great game at Bulldog Stadium. Battle of 1604, Somerset taking on Southside. Cardinals trying to rally in the fourth quarter. Quarterback Richard Torres scrambles, finds some space along the sideline, dives in for the 3-yard score. They go for two, they don't get it, so they trail 7-6. Later in the fourth, Cardinals down 10-6, driving for the go-ahead score, but the ball pops loose from the running back's hands, and as he fights for the yardage, Bulldog senior Josh Korn on the recovery. The Bulldogs keep it a 4-point game. Back to the big game coverage scoreboard to see if they hold on for the win, and yes, they do. 10-6 to find on that one. McCollum all over Austin Navarro tonight, 65-10. Harlandale defeating Edison in a shutout, and Brackenridge over Lee. The Southwest Dragons band played on as Floresville Tigers are taming the Dragons up 29-6 in the third. The Tigers are still on the attack. Braden Fuller drops back to pass, has all day to find Nate Luther wide open over the middle and outruns the defenders on his way to a 29-yard touchdown, 36-6 Floresville when we depart. And there's your final 36-13 Tigers. South San hosting Loretto United South. Fourth quarter, the Bobcats on the verge of scoring a touchdown, but the ball gets knocked loose. Fernando Bernales recovered by Julio Arevalo, and for the touchback, and let's see if that one turned out as well. There you see Laredo United South with the shutout, 28-0. The Bernie Greyhounds playing host to Gregory Portland, a replacement for Sam Houston with COVID concerns, and the Greyhounds weren't playing around. First quarter, 3rd and 17, Wildcats 34-yard line. Rashawn Galloway rolls out to his right, throws left to Kobe Hunter on the screen pass. It works to perfection. Hunter gets great downfield blocking, sidesteps 2 defenders at the goal line for the 7-point lead. Back to the big game coverage scoreboard to see if that has gone final, and has had. Bernie gets a win. They hold off Gregory Portland in the process. Kennedy all over Austin Hyde Park tonight, 55-7. Elsewhere, Floresville with the big win over Southwest, and Laredo United South shutting out South San 28-0. We are just getting started. Up next on our big game coverage road trip, fan cam, more highlights and more scores. But first, let's listen to the O'Connor Panthers marching band. Our big game coverage road trip begins in Seguin tonight. It ends in Marion. And with more, let's take it live at Matador Stadium. And that's where we find our Larry. Actually, you're in Bulldog Stadium. My fault on that one. But at the same time, night vision is on. I like that.
Yeah, you know what, Greg? You get a little older, you got to start wearing glasses, right? Tonight was the 109th River Bowl between Seguin and New Braunfels. The Unicorns entering this with a 7-game winning streak in this series. Seguin Matadors were home tonight. The battle of New Braunfels Unicorns. First quarter, Seguin pinned inside their own 1-yard line, and running back John Jackson gets tackled by Nicholas Hernandez in the end zone for a safety, and it's 2-0 Unicorns. Next drive, Unicorns ball. The handoff goes to Landon Marsh on the end around, and he scoots in for a 3-yard touchdown, and New Braunfels led 9-0 late in the first quarter. Student section at Navarro, always one of the best, loud and proud. The Panthers hosting Lavernia Bears tonight. Second quarter, Panthers ball up 6-0. Handoff goes to Colton Chambers, and he picks up 15 yards on 4th and 3. That is ground and pound, baby. 7 plays later, Cole Mouser scores from 4 yards out. Touchdown Panthers. 2-point conversion was good, and Navarro led 14-0. To Marion we go. The Bulldogs charging the field to start the third quarter with the Goliad Tigers. Goliad down 23-18, and with the ball, Braylon Perry with the carry. Dominic Castellanos delivers a big hit, causing a fumble, and Bryce Gagne recovers it for the Bulldogs. Call him Dominic the Destroyer. Moments later, the Bulldogs cash in. Aiden Rios scores a 3-yard touchdown, and the Bulldogs go up 30-18. Let's go to the scoreboard now for those finals. And New Braunfels goes on to win 35-15. Navarro defeats Lavernia 35-6, and Marion wins 44-26, improving to 2-0. And Greg, I want to give a quick shout out to Seguin. Those sausage wraps are darn delicious. Back to you.
Thanks for the free food. Time now for Fan Cam. You, our fans, help us cover one of the big games on our big game coverage tonight. Here's our Andrew Seeley.
It is a full student section over at Antonian. Head coach Danny Padron and the Apaches hosting Pleasanton tonight. Home team on the move on the first drive of the game, but Caleb Castro's pass to the end zone is intercepted by J.J. Morales. It's a touchback, and the game is still scoreless. Second quarter now, Eagles up 3-0. Castro is picked off again, and again, it's Morales. This sets up Pleasanton in plus territory, and they capitalize on the takeaway this time. Sean Ramos off the play-action fake, slings it to Diego Luna over the middle, stays on his feet, and dives in for the 27-yard touchdown with a little under 2 minutes left before halftime.
Fans are on the field for halftime as Fan Cam departs. Pleasanton leads the home team 10-0. From Antonian High School, Andrew Seeley, KSAT 12 Sports.
All right, thanks a lot, Andrew. Let's take a look at that final. Antonian gets a win, 19-17. Central Catholic over Bernie Geneva. They're starting off 2-0, 44-7. As Laredo United falling to Harlan, they squeak out the victory on the road, 34-33. And Corpus Christi Moody is now leading Jefferson, 49-13. That is in the fourth quarter. If you missed anything, no trouble. Just go right now to BigGameCoverage.com. You got all the highlights and all the scores for you, and we'll even put on some more highlights for you a little bit later on tonight.
Yeah, we got you covered.
We do.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks,
So
Greg.
exciting that football's back.
I know. It is, especially when Greg's out of breath at the end.
Yes.
You know, it's a good night.
He gets
Yeah. We'll be right back.
At the beaches this weekend, sunny right near 90 degrees. Along the Gulf Coast, we'll have waves about 2 to 3 feet. If you go in the back bays, becoming choppy Saturday afternoon and even Sunday afternoon, you know, when we have the highest winds around 10 to 15 knots. Monday, the calmest day, mainly smooth, slight chance of a few showers Monday afternoon along the coast and in San Antonio.
Caskey's fishing this weekend.
Yeah, that's why he had to throw that in
Get
there.
that forecast in there. GMSA at 6 in the morning.
Have a great night.